of the Muslim Council of Britain, Dr. Akhtar. Asalaam alaikum to you. Ramadan Mubarak. I wanted to just get your take on what's going on, particularly because there are lots of people in this country from various backgrounds that might be represented by your organisation that take an interest in what's happening.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'll be honest, we don't speak on behalf of all British Muslims, but there is a sense of real foreboding, a real worry within the community, not just the Muslim community, but British people as a whole. Look, the brutal truth is we're back to another war in the Middle East. And any war in the Middle East, we know this playbook, right? It doesn't stay over there. It comes straight back here in your wallet and affecting us on our doorsteps. And people say, well, how can that be? Look, when conflict spreads, oil and gas prices spike, push up the energy bills, inflation goes up. So now suddenly this cost of living crisis, which all of us feel and the Muslim community feels it particularly, gets worse. And just as we were on the cusp of recovery, suddenly all of that gets erased. Who doesn't suffer? Yeah. The warmongers. All those people who are kind of pushing for this war, including Netanyahu, who's one of the most prolific child killers of the last half century.
Well, they would argue, obviously, that he's acting in self-defense, but we'll save that for another time. Now, let me ask you this, Dr. Akhtar. You're talking about the economic elements coming back and hitting us back here, but there are also potential community elements as well, aren't there? Because there'll be potentially lots of people who disagree with this action. Are you concerned about that too?
Yeah, I am concerned about it, but probably not in the way that you're thinking. I'm concerned about it because when you have this level of instability, and let's be clear, the game plan for Israel and America is not an orderly transition. It's chaos. It's the balkanization of Iran. And what happens from that? You get millions of refugees, people fleeing bombs and destructions. And where do they end up? They don't end up in Israel or America. They end up here in this country.
But why would Israel and the US want chaos, Dr. Akhtar? What they want is a regime threatening not to eradicate Israel from the face of the map. That would be welcome. That would be a nice thing to happen, and not going and supporting proxies in the region, causing all sorts of problems all over the place.
You're right. We don't want war. Nobody wants war. But you do not deliver peace at the end of a missile. Just to recap, I think people need to be aware of this because the media doesn't seem to be giving it the due weight, that we were in the middle of negotiations to achieve a peace deal. And right in the middle of those negotiations, when the chief negotiator said that things were going extremely well, which is Oman, America and Israel decided to take the most inflammatory step possible.
Which they also did last June, actually, which I mentioned.
Exactly. And remember that when you don't just kill a leader of a country, you're killing the spiritual guide of hundreds of millions of Shia Muslims across the world. You're killing his family, his grandchildren, and thousands of others who are in so-called collateral damage, including 100 schoolgirls. That's not a way of delivering anything but more chaos. I'm sorry.
Dr. Akhtar, 9 killed, as we understand, in a pro-Iran protest at the US consulate in Pakistan. Big Pakistani diaspora in this country is obviously as well a big Iranian diaspora as well. Difficult to really work out where people are on all of it, but certainly people concerned, different views held by different Muslims of different backgrounds, Sunni, Shia, all the rest of it. Any worries for us?
Look, when it comes to whether you're pro or anti the Iranian government, that's something for the Iranians to decide at the ballot box. It's certainly not for us to decide here in the London studio, or for the Americans or Israelis to decide, again, through weapons of mass destruction. But the worry for us should be, I know that people are thinking, you know what the worry is, and it's a very kind of, I don't want to say selfish, I think it's a very myopic view. The worry is, could there be blowback on British streets?
Yes, that is the question I'm asking.
Why is no one asking that we're in a world now where unilaterally one country can decide to kidnap the elected leader of a country or kill the leader of another country, and the rest of us just have to go along with it? What happens if tomorrow Donald Trump wakes up and decides, I'm going to take Greenland, and heck, I might as well just take Scotland as well while I'm at it? We've created this kind of international world order where might is right. And that's the bigger problem. You're worried about a lone person who might create some havoc on the streets, which is a worry. and our security services are on top of that. And by and large, the Muslim community here has been very responsible, and so have the pro and anti government protesters have maintained it. But I haven't seen that responsibility by our political leaders.
Dr. Akhtar, one word answer, if I might, which I'm asking my listeners this hour: was Britain right not to get involved? Yes or no?
I mean, it's involved, isn't it? How is it?
Well, I mean, it's not involved directly. I mean, it didn't actually get involved in this in this exercise shoulder to shoulder. It's now involved because it's defending its assets. So that's what it would say.
Listen, you're either calling for international rules-based order, or you're involved and quietly cheerleading, and that's all we've seen. It needs to. It's right not to be directly involved, but what we're asking the British government to do is that we are greater than just being the 51st state of America. We need to stand up and say laws mean something.
All right.
This is wrong.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Wajid Akhtar, Secretary General of the Muslim Council of Britain. Breaking news.